Hello, how's it going? I'm multi-streaming on a few different platforms. I think some of them aren't working. I don't think it's streaming on TikTok at the moment, and also Facebook didn't seem to be working. We've got Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Might just be those three. Mm, yeah, cool. All right, let's see. Is everything working? Cool. This is the code for the game, and this is the game in Unity. Seems to be showing up. I'm just going to press play and sort of have a look at what we had, because I can't really remember how far we got last time. I've been editing videos and posting them as shorts, but they're a little bit behind now. They're like a week behind. So I'm editing the stream not from last week, but the week before for shorts at the moment. So I've pressed play. I'm just waiting for it to load. I think because it's the first time loading since I've opened Unity, it might take a little bit longer. Alright, we're in. I'm going to pause it and make it full screen. Zoop. And then I'm going to hit start game so you can see what we got. We've obviously got this little menu, start game. We've got a player character so we can move around. The camera's working now, so the camera follows the player. You can't walk through walls or buildings. We've got enemies spawning in over time. If I shoot and kill an enemy, it dies. What else we got? The enemies move when you shoot them. You can get damaged if you touch an enemy. Oh yeah, bullet holes when you shoot the walls. That one is more art, but so the thing was, we were going to try and make the game fun and not use any art and just use like 3D and simple shapes. But for some reason, I think someone suggested we do like bullet holes when the bullets hit the walls, and that sounded quite fun. So we did do that, and now that works. It was quite fun as well. I've never done like decals before, like stickers that you stick on things. So trying to get that working was a little bit of a challenge, but seems to be working quite well. Except the shape that is supposed to be projecting is a circle, but you can see if you look really closely, the circle's got like a flat edge on it, and that's just because the angle that the projector is spawning in is not perfectly facing the wall. It's slightly offset, but it's fine for now. Like, this is like a bonus feature anyway, really, and I don't know if we'll even end up keeping it in the final game, but we have it. It's pretty cool. Then if we keep killing enemies, nope, should be able to take them all out. I think there was 10, so that's 9, and then this might be the last one, 10. Cool, you have won. Restart game. So if we restart game, we're back again at the start, and I can also die if I lose all my health, which should cause a game over screen, which also has a reset button. Yeah, you have lost, and the character dies, and then restart game. So first of all, I'm gonna just fix the camera a bit. It's like fixed to the player's movement, which is not that. It don't feel that nice. I think it always feels better when the camera like animates to the position rather than instantly moves to the position. So it sort of slowly pans across. So to do that, we can either do that in code or we could download Cinemachine and use that. I think I'm going to do it in code since I'm already I've got a player camera follow script here anyway. So I'm just going to edit this. So instead of instantly moving to the position, we're going to animate to it. So let's comment that out and we'll do, smoothly follow the player. So for this, it's suggested that we do position equals lerp between the current position and the position of the player plus the offset, and then times delta time.delta time times 5. So I'm actually going to take that out of there because I don't like, they're called magic numbers, where you just put the number in and it's just in the code like that. I'm going to have it up here. I'll have serialized field. There you go, it's suggested. Smooth speed equals 5, and then I'll just put the smooth speed here instead. Cool. So if we close that down and press play, the camera should really nicely follow the player now, instead of just sticking straight to the player. Play. Start game. We can also change that speed here on the inspector. Okay, so if I move, you can see now the camera follows the player. It's a bit jittery. Why is it jittery? In fact, the player's... It's more the player than the camera there. Let me turn off this camera follow. Yeah, look at that. The movement is jittery. It every now and again steps to the right or left. Let's have a look how we do a movement, because that's really odd. We're doing it on the player. Do we have gravity on? We're not using gravity. No, because we're just fixing it at the Y position of 0, so we don't need gravity. Alright, let's have a look in our character mover we'll look at first. So, we set our intended direction. We call that from another script, probably from the character mover script. And then every fixed update we do move, so we do this. If the magnitude of direction is less than 0.1, we just set the velocity to be 0, so we don't move it. Otherwise, we normalize the direction, and then we offset by the isometric. So rotate the direction by the fact that the game is isometric, so 45 degrees. How goes the game dev? Okay, but we just found a weird bug and I'm trying to figure out what's causing it. The problem doesn't seem to be here, because this is just the direction times the speed. So the bug might be in this script. Okay, let's have a look. No, that shouldn't be a problem either, so... we read those two values, that seems fine. Oh, we normalize it twice, that seems a bit odd. So we're already normalizing it. I'll delete that bit. Oh no, that's the shoot direction, not the movement direction. So I am going to do a debug log here. Intended move direction, and I'm going to just log this vector free. And then I'm going to move up and down and we'll see what happens. Play. So basically when I was pressing up and down, my character was moving up and down, but it was sort of like jittering to the side. I'll see if it does it again if we go over here. You're there. See? Every now and again, it was stepping to the side a bit. Sort of seems to... There. Why is that doing that? Step there. And there. Oh wait, we've got the debug log now, so we can see... Let's stop that. Let's scroll up and see. Oh no, that won't work, will it? No, can't do that. Alright, unpause it. Basically, if I hold up and down, yeah, you see it's jittering, but we're not getting any X and Y. Yeah, X movement position. It's hard to look there and there at the same time, but yeah, it's stepping now, and it's not got any X value. So that's good and strange. But that means if we jump back into our character mover edit script, we know at which point was it? We know at this point there is no issue, which is good. That means we can go into our intended direction one. That's where the issue is happening. So if we jump to that, in here is our character mover. And this is what we call from the other script. We call set intended direction, and then we just set this direction vector free here to be whatever we send. So we know this will always be 0 in the x-axis because we were just seeing it on the debug console. So this is not an issue. This is getting saved. This is fine. Next is every fixed update we do this move, and void move. So if the direction magnitude, which is the length of the vector, is more than 0.1, we know, sorry, if it's less than 0.1, we just zero it, because you're not really moving. Like, there's a bit of, it's called like there's a dead zone on your gamepad controls, and so if the control is not pressed more than 0.1, like 10%, then assume everything is fine. I think we could probably lower that to like 0.5, but still. Oh, to be fair, 0.1 is fine. Let's do 0.1. Otherwise, we take the direction that we've got and we normalize it, which is fine. Then we offset the direction. Oh! I know what's happening. This is very strange. Okay, so basically, it's hard to explain. We get the controls that the player's pressing, and then we send them to this character mover script. And then this, basically every frame it goes, let's check the direction is more than the magnitude of 0.1. And if so, then we normalize the direction. And then we rotate the direction by the isometric offset. And then we do the velocity equals the direction times by the speed. Now the problem is, what if your fixed update gets called twice in one frame? Or what if your fixed update happens before you get this new direction? You see, that would be an issue because you would rotate it twice then. So you only need to rotate it once, which we could fix by, once we've applied the direction here, we can just reset the direction to vector 3.0, and then it will only try to move it again if we get the direction and it's different. Yeah. This is a very weird bug to have, right? It's because I've tried to separate the moving from the input, which is fine. In fact, I don't really like that idea of resetting it here. Maybe we rotate we'll rotate the input in the input script rather than rotating the input in the movement script, because it is linked to the movement, to the input, right? So yeah, let's take this out of here. We'll put it into the player character input. So here, when we have our movement direction, we're going to rotate the direction, intended move direction, yeah, we're going to rotate our intended move direction by our rotation and intended move direction. We're going to rotate this by our isometric offset, which we're going to add up here as a private vector 3 isometric offset. And I think we already know it's 0, 45, 0 because we've got it here. Yeah, so let's delete that. And then we'll delete this as well, the offset by isometric. And then we'll put that on here as well. And now, whenever we get the input, we'll rotate the input by the isometricness, but we won't rotate the actual movement because that's separate. Cool. So now if we go to character mover, we'll normalize it in here as well. That's fine. Set intended direction. I kind of want to add that this is unnormalized, but I can't remember how you do it. Like tooltip. Oh, there you go. Tooltip. Tooltip. Set intended direction, and then I'll put a note. This should be unnormalized. There we go. Or I could just add non-normalized. Would it be unnormalized or non-normalized? It's intended direction. Unnormalized seems fine. Unnormalized. I did it with Z because a lot of coding uses Z, even though I'm in the UK, so obviously I would be using an S on normalized. It's fine. It happens with colour as well. In code, colour is like that, even though in the UK it would have a U. Did Americans invent C#? Probably. That would explain it, right? Okay, so now we need to go back and fix where we call that. So unnormalized. Unnormalized. Alright, cool. So let's jump back over here. How dare they? Cut out by colour. Been working on a game in Godot. Oh, nice. Anytime I want to use colour, I have to remember it's spelled wrong. Yeah. That's cool you started learning Godot. Do you pronounce it Godot? I feel like it should be pronounced Godot because the logo is literally a robot. So I feel like they're implying that it rhymes. Even though it's named after the... Is it a play called Waiting for Godot? Or a book? I'm not sure. Can't read. I'm illiterate. Play. Let's just walk about a bit and see if that weird issue happens. I think that was what was causing it though. If not, then I don't know. Okay, I mean, it's still doing the jittering thing, but I think that's a separate issue. So, Godot. That's how I've heard other people call it. Nice. So, I hate that. That's gross. What do I do about that? That's happening because we move our camera on our late update, but we're moving our player on our fixed update. How is best to solve that? Does our player move in a non-smooth way? Let's have a look. So camera follow. Basically, we get the position of the camera, we get the position of the player, plus the offset, and then we lerp towards it by the smooth speed. I'll put here, how can we make it smoother? It is jittering. The player moves using fixed updates. We can use late update for the camera. I do that. This is literally in late update. We can also use interpolation on the player's rigid body. We can increase the smooth speed now. Smooth damp. What will that do? We can also use Cinemachine virtual camera. True. Alright, let's try this smooth damp. Let's do that. Smooth damp. And that's wrong because it's not filled in the full line. Current velocity. Ah. Well, that would be... Wait, what does smooth damp actually do? It doesn't tell you. Alright, we're bailing out. This is... You could spend ages on this. What we're going to do is just going to use Cinemachine, because they've already figured all these issues out. And I think Cinemachine is part of Unity now. It looked like the player itself was jittery, because if it was the camera, the wall would be jittery as you moved, right? Yes. Yes? Would it? Wait, if we're moving the camera to the position of the player should always look smooth and the whole world should be jittery. Oh, I don't know. That's really weird, isn't it? If we're following the movement of the player and the player looks jittery, then we're not following the movement of the player. No, yeah, you're right. If the player is jittery and we're following their movement, then the camera would be jittery as well. But that... no, I don't know. I'm gonna download Cinemachine. Cinemachine. Is it in here? Yeah, there you go. Download. Oh, what? It's depreciated. It's available via the package manager. This is the package manager. Oh, it's because it's an official Unity thing now. Cinematic Studio, is that it? Create films, TV shows, and animated content. I didn't know Unity had this. Whoa. That's not Cinemachine though. There we go, Cinemachine. Install. I'm curious what extra stuff you get if you do the TV shows and film add-on. Will it just make your game look really good? How are you finding Godot, Vince? I used it a tiny bit and it was really similar to Unity. Obviously you don't have to deal with the Unity drama if they have any more drama again in future. And it's open source, which is good for a lot of reasons. So it does have quite a lot going for it. Also, there's quite a few indie games that have come out and been released using it now. I think one of my favourite games of all time, Brotato, is using Godot. Loving it. Nice. A lot simpler. Nice. I guess Helldivers 2 was made in it. Whoa, I didn't know that. That's crazy. Alright, so I think I've just installed Cinemachine. Yeah, I have. So let's add in a Cinemachine camera. That was weird because it did seem to change the the art somehow. It shouldn't have done. Then we'll turn that off, and then we'll do. So we've got an offset. We can put the camera back to where we had it. So minus 25, 25, 25. Minus 25, 25. It's not changing. I think this is to do with our Cinemachine camera. Oh, look at this. Orthographic size 10. And I don't know what we had before. Let's see. I can't change it there now because I've got the Cinemachine camera. How zoomed out were we before? Does anyone remember? I can't remember. Rotation. Well, I know we were minus 25, 25, minus 25? No. 25? 25? No. Minus 25, minus... No. Look at this. It's all gone horribly wrong. And the rotation will have been 0, 45, 0. That seems to have gone totally the wrong direction though. Very confused now. You know, look at that. Would it be, what, 45? Oh, and 30. No, 45. Okay, 45 there, and maybe... look at this. I think we weren't like as high up as 45. That feels too high. I think we were more like 30. Like that. And then orthographic size, we'll just leave it 10 for now. Then we will use like the follow. Tracking target. Object for the camera to follow. Well, we are going to have to set that in code. And we want like a follow. There you go. Follow. Lock to target. A lazy follow. The binding mode. I guess lock to target. Okay, this has got damping on it, so it can be smooth. Rotation is, we'll put 0, but we're not going to be following the rotation. And then alright, we'll leave that on 1 and just see what that looks like. And then the offset is how far away the camera should be. How far away should the camera be from the player? Oh, look. It's in the floor at the moment. That, not good. That not good at all. let's take this offset. This minus 25, 25, minus 25. We'll use that. Minus 25, 25, minus 25. Is that what I said it was? Minus 25, 25, minus 25. Yeah. Cool, so we need to set this on play to be our player. So in a game manager, edit script, when we create a player, we also want to have a reference to our Cinemachine follow. And we'll call this Cinemachine follow. Why not? Just literally call it what it is. Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll serialize that. Make that private. We will go down to where we create a player instance. This is where we create a player. Here we will do Cinemachine follow equals dot follow target equals player instance dot transform. Don't like that, does it? Why? It's read only. How can it be read only? Who would make that read only? Why would... Oh, do you have to set it on the actual camera itself? Oh. Oh, okay. So we just need a reference for Cinemachine camera instead. Cinemachine camera. And then we do Cinemachine camera dot, and it's called like tracking target, is it? Tracking target. And then maybe it's a method like that. Nope. Target equals player transform. Yeah. Target. Gonna look at targets for this camera. What? So how do you set a target then if you can't do... Why does it not like that? You cannot convert from a transform to a camera target. So what, I'm supposed to go Cinemachine camera target? No, dot. Oh God. What is it? It's not a Cinemachine target, it's a... Cannot convert to camera target equals player instance. Get component camera target. Oh, what? You have to put a camera target on the player. What? So if I go to my player, I put a camera target on the player itself. You can't do that. Camera target. That's not a thing. Look. Blip. Oh, this is a disaster. What? Why is that so hard? That seems like it'd be really easy to do. What am I missing? Tracking target, the object for the camera to follow. Right. And I can't just set that in code. Is target different? Oh. Target dot tracking target. Ugh. Target is a weird thing made up of other things like tracking target and look at target. Fair enough. Alright, save. Save. Okay. So we don't need... Yeah, we need... That's fine. Close that. Mainly been working on building the systems I'm going to need for the game because I want to build multiplayer games. Nice. Multiplayer adds quite a bit of complexity. What systems for multiplayer does Godot use? Maybe it's probably just like all the same ones you can get for Unity, right? Are you using like Photon or something like that? Play. Alright, start game. And it crashes because we didn't set the Cinemachine camera in here. So let's set that. Play. Alright, it's got its own multiplayer API. That's fancy. I don't know if Unity has, or maybe they do and it's just expensive or something. Oh, look at that. No stuttering at all. The smoothest camera I've ever seen. We are too high though, above the player. Why would that be? We did the offset thing and I put it at 25. Maybe we did have it so that the camera was like 45 degrees. No, we didn't. Look at that, that's ridiculous. We did have it at 30. Then, did we have this lower? That looks right. What's that? Something like that. That's like 22. Oh, why? What's the relation between 22 and 25? Like, how are those numbers related? Is it to do with this 30 degrees, 45 degrees? 22. What happened here? Cinemachine camera. Maybe I just, if I manually put it at minus 25, minus 25, and 22. Okay. I think it's because camera was like in the world geometry. Save. 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 we can mess about with this speed of the camera moving now as well. So let's press play and have a look what we got. Pause, full screen. Here we go. Start game. We've got a player character. We can move. We can shoot. The camera is very smooth now. Too smooth, you could say. You probably wouldn't say that. It's quite hard to aim and get a perfect shot. Maybe the bullet collider needs to be bigger, or the bullets need to be bigger. Just make the bullets bigger. Why not? Play a bullet. The sphere is currently 0.2. Let's make 0.4. 0.4. Gotta go. No worries. Thanks for hopping in. Yeah, and can't wait to see what you're building in Godot. Should be fun. Let me know if you need anyone to play test. Radius 0.1. Oh. No, that was correct. So 0.2. Yeah, there we go. Alright, so we doubled the size of the bullets. So that should make it a bit easier to hit the enemies. Let's have a look. Okay, it's definitely easier to hit the enemies now, because you can hit, like, there's a slightly wider range on where you can hit from. I think it just looks kind of better anyway, having the bullets be bigger. Like, it feels chunkier. The bullet holes seem to still be working, except on here. I think I would need to change how they're spawned in, because now they're spawned in slightly too far away from the wall, but not on this. I don't really want to waste time on that though, so for now we'll just sort of leave it as that is. It'd be cool to... Well, here's the thing, right? So we're trying to make the game without doing artwork and just using shapes and stuff. But part of the game feeling good is like having like little explosions when you shoot something, or before something gets exploded. Yeah, there's like explosion particles, things like that. But does that count as art, or does that count as, I guess, like the game design? I think that would be a waste of time to start doing that stuff. Let's go back to what we were going to do. So the idea is you beat a wave of enemies and then you can choose an upgrade, and then you go on to like the next floor. So let's get that stuff in and code that. How's it going, Rubik's? I've got a Rubicon drink. Not quite the same word, but close enough. Oh, it's really good, is Rubicon. This is one of the sparkling ones. Never heard of it. Maybe it's like UK drink. Oh, is this made in Ireland? It's a UK drink. I didn't know. Oh, you got Ribena. Ribena's pretty good. Do you get Iron Brew in America? It's obviously from Scotland, but I don't know if they ship it all around the world. Cool. Oh, nice. I really like it. I think it's a really good drink. Cool. So, how do we want to do this? I guess we're going to change this. You have one screen now, and it's now going to have, instead of restart game, you'll choose the next upgrade and then it'll go into the next level. So we probably want to show a few things on the screen, so let's maybe do that. So we'll make some UI, do canvas. Screen overlay, I think. Scale with screen size 1920 by 1080. Oops. And then we're going to throw some text on there. Just going to use Text Mesh Pro. New text. So let's have a look. We're going to have this say how many enemies are left. Enemies left 0 out of 10. We'll have it say 10 out of 10 to begin with. We've only got this one font. We need a better font in the game. Okay, so let's make this smaller. 24. It's too small. We'll leave it at 32. That's fine. And then, let's have a look. We want this to be wider to cover the number. So do like 420. And then we'll put this in the top corner of the screen. So we'll do 210 plus 10 plus 20. There we go. And then this will be 0, 25. Nope, minus 25 minus 10 minus 10. There we go. And then I can change it back to that. Right, so we have enemies left. I'll name this label enemies left. Oh, you're in Cornwall. Oh, that's awesome. We really want to go to Cornwall again. We've not been for a really long time. Did you go see like King Arthur's castle and like the caves, and there's some like witchcraft stuff as well as like the witch museum? It's all near Cornwall. It's in Boscastle. There's a monkey sanctuary. Oh wow, that's cool. I didn't know that. Enemies left. So, what else do we need? We put the player health here instead of on the player. But you're looking at your player, so maybe you want to see health on the player as well. Oh, you ended up on Ross Noble's TV show. Oh, I feel like I remember that. I feel like I remember you saying. It's a really random story. "2013. It's a long time ago though, isn't it now? It's crazy. Save. Alright, so we're going to set this in code. We're going to go to Game Manager. Maybe we're going to have like a UI manager that handles that. Let's do that instead. So we're going to have a UI manager. I'm going to call Game HUD Manager. Create an ad. Does feel like a lifetime ago, 2013. So we have Game HUD Manager, edit script. If we do Text Mesh Pro GUI, we call this enemies left label, and then in Awake we'll make enemies left label equal set text to enemies left, and then we'll just have it blank. Or not, we will do set text enemies left. We'll just have it blank, and then there, update enemies left label with how many enemies left, and then int enemies max, and then set that to enemies left out of enemies max. Okay, and update. How do we want to do this where we listen for how many enemies there are, basically? Like we watch. What tracks it? Is it the game manager or was it some sort of enemy manager tracks it? Cool. So let's just have a reference to our enemy manager from here. Which we will serialize field so we can set it. Oops. And we'll serialize this as well so we can set this. Cool. And then let's store the number internally as well. So we'll have private int enemies max and private int enemies left. YouTube better than Twitch. Nice. The way I've got it set up is pretty cool. It like shows all the messages in one chat anyway, but with an icon of Twitch or an icon of YouTube, which is pretty cool. Oh yeah, roller coasters are awesome, and Alton Towers is really cool as well. I've not been for a long time though. I don't know if they've got any new roller coasters since I last went. I think they had Nemesis, Oblivion. The new one when I went was called like Air or something. Smiler. Oh yeah, I went on Smiler. They had loads of like cool, like glitchy graphics or something. Like, yeah, I remember that one. That might have been, yeah, the last time I went. That had just opened, I think. Is that Cedar Point? Cedar Point or Cedar Point? I've heard of it. Was it in Roller Coaster Tycoon? Was there like a level based on that? That might be how I know it. Cedar. So in the update, we want to check if, yeah, I mean, if that is null, then return. And then if enemy, yeah, basically update there. Or is it 2 you do? Enemies left doesn't equal enemy manager dot current enemies something like that. And then we need to go to enemy manager and make some of those public. So let's find our script. Enemy manager. So we're going to have two ints. We're going to have public int number of enemies on this floor equals number of enemies on this floor. And then public int current enemies equals enemies count if enemies isn't null and 0 otherwise. So then we can go back to this. If it doesn't equal that, or that doesn't equal current enemies, yeah, then that equals that. Enemies left equals current enemies, and then update enemies left label with enemies left and enemies max. Cool. I don't like enemies left now. I think it should be like enemies remaining. And then enemies max is enemies total. Cool. I think that looks good. I'll just rename this one as well to enemies remaining. Cool. So now if we hook that up, Oh, it's just a well-known park. 3 or 4 of the top 10 roller coasters in the world are there. What are they called? Because I might have heard of the actual roller coasters as well. Enemies left label was this one. And then I've got to assign the enemy manager, which is this one. There we go. Save. Save, save. Play. So we'll make this full screen. So it's changed already to enemies left 0 of 25. Start game 1 of 10. 2 of 10. 3 of 10. This is tricky because the enemies left should... It's weird because they spawn in over time. They don't spawn in straight away. When we get the 0 should be the number of enemies we've already spawned in plus the number of enemies that we haven't spawned in yet. So when we go to enemy manager, when we get enemies remaining, it should be enemies count plus like enemies left to spawn. Enemies count. Remove the enemies despawned. Oh, that's that. Spawn enemies over time. We need this. Current enemy count. So I'm going to make a new value here. Private int number of enemies spawned so far equals 0. And then I will just, instead of this, I'll do enemies spawned so far equals 0. And then I'll change this here to number of enemies spawned so far. And then instead of increasing that, I will increase number of enemies spawned so far. And then when I go up here and I return this, I'll add on the number of enemies spawned so far. Oh no, that's the opposite. That's what enemy count is. We need the number of enemies that are alive plus the number of enemies left to spawn. And the number of enemies left to spawn is basically the reverse of what we've just done. So let's rename this to number of enemies left to spawn equals number of enemies on this floor. And then we'll do while the number of enemies left to spawn is more than 0, we will spawn enemies in, and the number of enemies left to spawn will decrease. Cool. And so when we yeah, that should now, when I press play, it should say like 25 out of 25, but it says 0 out of 25. Oh, because I haven't pressed play yet. Start game, 10 out of 10 enemies left. And then if I start killing them, it should start going down, but it hasn't. It's not gone down. Oh. So it only starts working once all the enemies are spawned in. Restart game. Oh, I think I know why. Do I know why? No. The enemies count is how many enemies exist in the world, plus how many enemies are left to spawn. We'll just set both those to 10 for now. And how are we getting this count? Count how many enemies we have plus the number of enemies left to spawn. Gonna rename this enemies left to kill. So the number of enemies left to kill equals the enemies that are alive and the enemies that are left to spawn. So this feels right. Like the number of enemies that are alive is this, plus the number of enemies that we have left to spawn. So minus equals 1. Take 1 off. Number of enemies left to spawn. I'm just going to do debug.log number of enemies left to spawn and then how many are left. That's weird though, isn't it? Millennium Force. I don't think I've heard of that. Steel Vengeance. Top Thrill Dragster. Siren's Curse. Nemesis and Wickerman. No, I've not heard of them. start again. So 10 out of 10 enemies left. But if I kill one, that should be surely 9 out of 10. Why is that not 9 out of 10? Debug. Says enemies total is 10 and enemies remaining is 10. But I can see there's 4 enemies. There are 1, 2, 3 enemies in the scene. So what's happened there? 1, 2, 3. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 4 is the same as the first one. Oh. Oh. Oh, we could do that. That's a good idea. Spawn them all and then enable them with the coroutine. What is happening though is because I'm using a pool to enable and disable enemies, when an enemy is defeated, it removes any enemies where it's null, but that doesn't remove any enemies where they're already in the list. So what we need to do is remove any duplicates, but I don't know if you can do that. Like enemies dot remove duplicates is not a thing. Maybe we don't add it into the list if it is already in the list. Enemy, add enemy to enemies. Yeah, maybe we don't do that if the enemy is already in the list. That I think makes sense. If enemies dot contains enemy, then yeah, it's fine. If it doesn't contain enemy, then add enemy. Save. Cool. That might have just fixed the issue now. I like the idea of spawning them all in there and enabling and disabling them at the start. That's probably like the more optimized way of doing it. I think we might change it again though, so that all enemies are spawned in at the start. So I might not rewrite it for now. Alright, so if I kill an enemy now, it should change to a 9 out of 10. But it doesn't. Now it's changed to 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. It's because it's not like updating that list straight away, like 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10. It's not instant. It should be instant. When is this happening? When is the list getting updated? Are all enemies defeated? When does this happen? Or in update, we do check every frame. Maybe enemy manager. Maybe we just need like an enemies defeated and we just count them separately. Rather than trying to do something fancy. We've got despawn enemy even. But that's only when we do destroy all enemies. Enemies, remove all enemies where enemy is null or not active in the hierarchy. So this will always count the amount of living enemies. No, it won't, will it? We could count that. Yeah, okay, so let's change this. So instead of relying on that, what we'll do is in fact, when we check this, we need to remove duplicates. So we'll do remove duplicates. And how would we do that? Enemies equals new list, game objects, new hash set, game object, enemies. Oh, I don't like that though. We're basically making a new... No, don't like that. Let's have... public void how can we count the amount of game objects without making a mess? We could do something when we create the enemy. Where do we create the enemy? We create the enemy here, spawn enemy. Maybe we go to the enemy. So we are healing the enemy when they die, when they're spawned. So maybe we need an on pool despawned. And then pool manager. we need the enemies to tell the enemy manager when they're getting destroyed so we can tidy it up properly. So let's call this enemy manager despawn enemy and enemy to despawn. But when we do that, we'll also do that. We'll remove it and then despawn it. And then we'll make this public. And then we'll go to wherever we destroy our enemies, which would be in the health manager. It has a death event on death. Okay. So because it has a death event, we can tag on to that. We want it to have a game object. Or geo. And then when we invoke it, we'll just add in the game object that this health manager's on. And then we can go to enemy manager. When we spawn the enemy in, we need to add a listener. We need to do health manager get component from the enemy, and then we'll do that on enemy death, and then we'll do that despawn enemy. Which we won't do that bit, we'll just do that bit. Enemy. Because it despawns as well as part of the other code. Cool, that might fix our issue now. Play. No, there's a bug. On death. Player died. Health manager on death. Oh, player died. Game objects. Player died, and then you would just have game objects. Geo. Even though we don't use it, it's just. Can I not just do that? On death. Cannot convert void to death event. Where's the on def? On def equals player died. Okay. On def minus player died. That's weird. I don't know how to fix that. I'll ask Copilot. How do I fix this? See if it works. Oh, you just don't add those brackets in. No? Yeah. You just don't add the brackets then. There we go. Okay. Play. Start game. 10 out of 10. We kill one. 9 out of 10. Nice. 8 out of 10. 7 out of 10. 6 out of 10. 5 out of 10. 4. 3. 2, 1. Where's this last one? Oh no. Where is this last one? Oh. There he is. You've won. Nice. 0 out of 10. Restart. It goes back to 10. Destroy. 9. 8. Okay. Nice. That seems to work. Whew. Can you add aiming with the mouse? Yeah, that is a good idea, really. And click to shoot. Because at the moment, yeah, I can use gamepad. And I can fire any direction using the gamepad, which feels nicer than using keyboard, because keyboard you can only shoot in like the 8 directions. You can't really do in between shots, but on a gamepad you can fire like 360 degrees like that. But if we had mouse shooting, you'd be able to aim better. So let's add mouse shooting in. Let's see. So on our controls, input actions, we have shoot direction, move, and we've got a few others that are just there from default. Let's add in a new button. We'll just call it shoot. So duplicate attack. We'll call it shoot. And instead of enter on keyboard, we'll do mouse. What would it be? click. Left button, mouse. Right, left, left. Cool. Get rid of that. What's happened there? It's disappeared. Add binding. Mouse. Left button. Save. It's not adding it. It should do. Oh. It has added it, it's just gone weird. Alright, so we're going to delete some of these because that's odd. Alright, so delete that because we just duplicated it somehow. Delete. What's an XR controller? Does anyone know? Trigger, we don't want joystick, don't want tap screen. Delete. It's got left mouse. Don't need a gamepad. And we can delete the joystick one. XR controller. XR controller. Oh, VR controller. Oh, we don't need to worry about that then for now. Delete. Alright, so we've got shoot is left button. Cool. Next, we basically want to do save project, save. There's a few ways of doing it. I feel like the best way to do it is to go to where our player character would be here. Make a plane. So a new plane, 3D plane. We'll call this mouse shooting plane. We will put that at 0, 0, 0. We'll raise it up slightly to like 1.5. Is that where the bullets are? If we go to prefab, player, shooting, 1.5 is how high the shooting is. So then if we go to our new plane we made, the mouse shooting plane, if we make this huge, so let's do like 10, 10. No, let's make it way bigger, like 100 by 100. And then we make it invisible, like that. We want to put this on a special layer. We'll call this mouse shoot. Mouse shoot. We'll just call it mouse shoot. Fine. Save. Okay. And then put this on the mouse shoot layer. Save. 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 Alright, so now we'll put this on our player manager. Prefabs player. We'll edit our shooting script. Player character input, in fact. We will check if you did shoot. So if input actions dot player dot shoot dot was pressed this frame, or not pressed this frame but is held, dot shoot dot, we've got was pressed this frame. Have we got like is pressed? Okay, so we check if it's being pressed. If so, we want to raycast physics dot raycast this. Basically we want to do camera dot main dot screen point to ray, and then we'll do we don't want to do the aim position, we want to do input dot mouse position. Out raycast hit info, float distance, like 100f, and then layer mask dot get mask and then we will add a new thing up here. We'll use serialize field layer private int mouse layer, and then we can just use the mouse layer on get mask mouse layer. Why does it not like that? Oh, can we just put mouse layer there? Layer mask. Well, if it's layer mask, we can just put in a layer mask here instead of doing that. Layer mask. Mouse shoot layer mask. And then we'll just do mouse shoots layer mask there. Cool. So we can fire a raycast. We'll do if raycast hit info dot what does that return this if this is a bool? So we can do if raycast and it hits something, then we want to do direction to mouse is hit info dot point minus the player's position. The direction to the mouse Y is 0. If the magnitude is more than 0.1, we don't need to check the magnitude, it's fine. We'll do shooting direction is the direction to the mouse normalized. Shoot using that direction. Save. And I think that should be now possible to aim and shoot with the mouse. As long as we go here and we set the mouse shoot layer to mouse shoot. Now by clicking on that plane that's invisible, we should shoot in that direction. Save. You still got to use keyboard anyway to move. But now you should be able to also... Look at that! Not quite. It's offset by 45 degrees, which is our rotation. So where are we rotating that? Shooting direction equals intended shooting direction. We're rotating here. We shouldn't rotate here. Let's delete that. And delete those two. In our shooting then. Wait, let's just see now. Now keyboard shooting should be broken, but when we click to fire, it should fire at where we're clicking. Yeah, that seems to work. Wait, why can I only fire that distance? I can't fire over here. I can fire fine until I get over here, and then bullets can't go further than that. But if I'm shooting... Oh no, there it can't either. What are those bullets hitting there? What? Oh, the bullets are hitting the shooting plane. That's what that is. So actually, in physics, on this collision matrix, nothing should be able to hit with that mouse shooter frame. Everything should be disabled. Except, will that still register the mouse click? Probably. Start game. Yeah, that seems fine. So if I try and like... There, you can't trick it by putting the mouse right in the middle of the screen. Cool, so I can click and aim and that works. But if I shoot, it's now offset by 45 degrees, which I can fix by adding back in the thing we deleted, but only on the shooting that happens from the character. So player input somewhere. Player character input. We have this. We just copy and paste this basically. here we'll do if offset, and then we'll rotate our actual shooting direction. Shooting direction equals rotation weird, so I'm actually saving the shooting direction there. But why would I do that? I don't need that, do I? No. I can get rid of that one. And I can just do I can replace this with the shooting direction. Intended shoot direction equals intended shoot direction normalized. Then we rotate it. Intended shoot direction. And then we just shoot in that direction. Why is that spelled wrong? Oh. And then here intended shoot direction equals direction to mouse, and that equals intended shoot direction. Cool. So this could be an else if that. I think you can do like a then and then it does the then after these, but let's not do that. This is fine. Okay, so let's see. Now I should be able to shoot and it'll go in the correct direction, but also it should do the same thing for both keyboard and mouse. So if I click and shoot, I can shoot to where I'm pointing, like this. And then if I, oh no. Nope, that has definitely not worked. Oh, look, it's doing something to do with the movement. Multiplied by the intended move direction is intended shoot direction. Intended shoot direction. Cool. Play. That might fix that. Start game. Oh hi, how's your day? Pretty good so far. This seems to be working, so you can click and shoot. It shoots in the direction you click in. So we now have click to aim. And the enemies are updating now. And then if I hold keyboard, you can now use keyboard to shoot and aim as well, which seems to be working really well. And then let me check on my gamepad as well. If I start using gamepad, that also can aim and it goes in the right direction. Ooh. Cool. So we have an hour left of the stream. and we've got to pick what we're working on next. So we can kill enemies. Enemies can kill us. We can click to shoot and aim, use the keyboard and use the gamepad, which is pretty good. What else? You've lost. Restart. Oh, that hasn't worked. When we restart the game. Oh no, that did work, but there was an error. Move to next. Okay, where would that be? Destroy all enemies. Reach. Despawn enemy. Oh, and then maybe we want to remove the enemy as well. Can't remove it because you're in that function. When we despawn it, we do that, which would trigger that. Oh, are we adding a listener or not when we spawn the enemy in? Yeah, we add this in. We need to remove this. So when we despawn the enemy, we'll do health manager enemy to despawn, get health manager. Then we'll do if health manager doesn't equal null, then unregister from the ondef command. That should work. Start. Okay, kill a few enemies. How did I make it trigger? Is it because I died? Or was it when I killed all the enemies? Could have been either. Restart game. Ah, see, it's whenever I press restart game, something goes wrong. Oh, it's because we're trying to remove the enemy from the list enemies while we are going through the list of enemies. So we actually need to do basically like new list game object list game object enemies to destroy equals new list of game objects, and then we want to do for each variable enemy in enemies, if enemy doesn't equal null, then if enemies to destroy doesn't contain enemy, then we will add the enemy here. And then when we get here, we'll do if enemies to destroy doesn't equal null. Then for each enemy in enemies to destroy, if each enemy in enemies to destroy, we check if it's not null and then we despawn it. And then we clear our list of enemies. Now we're not deleting things from enemies while we're going through enemies. Cool. So if I go back now and press play, we should hopefully fix that. You came from the main menu video and it saved you from creating it. That's awesome. I still need to do a follow-up video for that. I think I did like 2 parts of 3. But it took a long time to make that video. Ah, is that broken? There was a bug. And now no enemies are spawning in. What's the issue now? Destroy all enemies. What do we call that? Start game. Where are we setting the enemies thing? Basically, maybe we need to do an equals new list game object so that it's not empty to begin with, which I think is what was happening there. But okay, so pause, make it full screen. Start game. So we're in. I'll just kill some enemies. Killed 1. Kill 2. Then I'll let the enemies kill me. And hopefully it won't crash when we click restart now. So it didn't, but it didn't destroy all the enemies. There's still an enemy there. Or was that enemy spawned in for this one? I'm not sure. I didn't see when that enemy arrived. Alright, let's try dying now when we can see the enemies. So all these enemies should die. And it should spawn a new one in. Yeah, which is what it's done. Okay, that looks like it works. Okay. Takes a while to kill them all. 2 left, it says. 1 left. There he is. Killed him. Restart game. Okay, so the idea for this game is it's in an office and you're destroying all these robots that have taken over the office. and you work from floor to floor and go to the next floor each time. So I think what we need is a lift, and once you've destroyed all the enemies, the lift door opens up and then you can go in and it'll take you to the next level. That feels like it makes a lot of sense. So let's do that. We will make a cube. We'll call this lift. Excuse me. We'll make it a bit bigger, like 4 by 4 by 4. Up to, there we go. That's a good lift. 2. Or elevator if you're American. Create empty. Elevator, I'll just call it lift, that's fine. Lift, cube. Alright, so we want, let's move it a bit. So we'll move it just over here, that's fine. 20. 15 even. There we go. We'll just put it there. We're going to want to do walls so that you can't get in, and then doors on the front as well. And then basically I'm going to make this cube invisible, but not yet. And then I'll turn it into like a trigger, so when you go in the cube, that's when it happens and works. But otherwise, it won't let you go down to the next floor. So I will make a duplicate of that. I'll call this wall. And I will move it across 1. No, across 2, I suppose. -2, and I will make this 1 by 1. I suppose it would be 5. Not in that direction. 1 by 5. Okay, so that now blocks off part of the lift. And then it's a bit high there now, isn't it? I suppose it would only be as high as the walls are. So it would only be too high, actually. It would be nice to make the walls disappear where the enemy is behind it. There's a few ways to do that in there. 2 high, so that'd be 1 high. There we go. Let's see, cube. I also feel like this is too wide now. Let's make this like 3 by 3. And then this would be, let's just make it like 0.2. And the position of this will be -1.5, like that. -1.5. And then this, instead of 5, would be 3.2. 3.2? No, 3.4, I suppose. If the thickness of the wall is 0.2, you've got 2 little bits on each side. Okay, so let's duplicate that, and then we'll put it at 1.5, and then we'll duplicate one more time. Duplicate. This one though would be at 0, and then it would be at oops. Oh, what's gone wrong here then? Oh, I moved the cube over to 15 when I should have actually been moving the whole object over to 15. Okay, so this back wall 1.5, and then this will be 3.4, and this will be 0.2. I actually don't think it would be though, because look, it's slightly overlapping there. I mean, I guess it'd be there. 1.6. Why would it be 1.6 and not 1.5? It'd be 0.1. Oh, because and a half of that. So does that mean these two walls as well would have been minus 1.6 instead? Yeah. So then this wall would be 1.6. Cool. And then this wall at the back, we can take off the bit that goes through the other walls. So instead of 3.4, I think it would just be 3. Because 2.9 would be like that, and then 2.95, and then 3. Cool. And then the doors we'll do on here as well. So we'll copy the wall we just did. Copy, paste. Call this door. And then this would be minus 1.6. Except if we want the doors to be like half and half, then well, we'll want it to be half as big as that, so 1.5, and then we're going to minus 0.75 across. Then we're going to duplicate it and move it to 0.75. Cool, so now we've got two doors on there. We want to change the pivots of those doors to be this bit and this bit, and then we could just scale the door to animate it opening and closing. Or we move the door into the wall, which might look gross. How thick are these walls over here? Are these 0.2 as well? 0.25. Well, let's just make those 0.2 as well. 0.2 to keep it consistent. Okay, so we could have these shrink down, like scale like that from this point, or we could have them slide open like that, but it would be into the wall. Which you could cover up with another wall, but I'm not sure. You can't actually change the pivot, you'd have to do like a parent on it. Hello Ruby. It's going okay, we're at 2 hours 17, so we've got 43 minutes left. I'm trying to make a lift or elevator for the Americans. I've got this so far. I'm trying to figure out for the doors. Do I move them like that? Which looks a bit weird because normally the doors go into the wall and disappear. Or do I scale them? And try and scale them from this corner side. I think scale them from the side makes most sense. Yeah, the only thing with like disappearing stuff into something else, like pushing it into a wall, is sometimes in Unity, if things are in the same space, it like flashes different colours, like Z fighting, which is just really gross. Oh, but I could fix that by making them like, instead of 1.5, if I just make them like 1.2, no, it's not that bit. Instead of 0.2, I make them 0.15. Then they're slightly smaller than the wall would be, so they can easily just disappear into the wall. Okay, that is a better solution, I think. I'll make them 0.1. Yeah, let's make them 0.1. 0.1. Cool. Then we can have lift manager we'll do on this. Lift manager. And this will control the doors of the lift. Ruby, look what I've got. I've got a Rubicon Mango Sparkling. Did I get you one? Unfortunately not. It was part of the meal deal. I shouldn't have shown you, should I? Should have kept it secret. Secret Rubicon. Lift manager, we need game objects, door 1, or door left? Door left. Hydration is key. I've got like a stream light on and it's quite warm. If I turn that off, look how dark it gets. Are you ready? Very dark. You can't see me. So I need to have it on, but it is very warm. And there's something a bit depressing about coding in the dark. So it makes sense to have the stream light on. It's weird though, because like it doesn't feel that dark in this room if that light's not on. It's just something about the camera, I guess. It needs a bit more light than there is normally in the room. And the lights are up on the ceiling behind me, so that probably makes sense why it'd be dark from the camera side. Okay, so we've got door left and door right. Yeah, basically that's what we want. Serialized fields, float, door open position X. And then I don't know how far the door needs to move, so let's just put 0 here and we'll set it in the editor. It's more open X offset. And then we'll have awake. No, we'll have public void open doors. Let's just make sure the doors open first, and then we'll animate them afterwards. So door left, local position. Well, we want to get the door's position first. Oh no, we can do it with local position. That's right. That's good. Offset and close X position. We can just do it with X position. And then, yeah, one will be minus and one will be positive. So this will be open X pos. This will be open X pos. And then public void close doors. Same thing basically. Oh, I can show you something very cool. If I go here and I go button, it'll make a button that'll let me do that. It's this thing called naughty attributes. I don't know why they called it that, but they did. And then you can write button above any method, and I'll show you then. If I go here, look, there's an open doors and a closed doors button. Crazy. And then if I drag my left door in, hopefully that's my left door. Yeah. Then I drag my right door in. And then the X position of this door is 0.75 when it's closed. And the open position of the door would be like there. Oh, maybe we don't want to open it all the way. We want to like open it like to there or something. We can play about with that. -2. -2 is the open position. Save. 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 Play. So, in theory, if I click open doors and then click close doors over and over, I should be able to open and close the doors. So let's zoom in like that. Pause. Over here. Alright. Open doors. They've opened. Closed doors. And they've closed. And if I keep clicking the same one over and over, it's all fine. Nice. So we have a lift that opens and closes. Nice. Cool. So now we're going to upgrade that. So instead of doing that, it actually animates and goes just like that. So we do public void. No. Whoa, what's it called? Public enumerator. Animate doors. Oh, do you have to do a void if you do enumerator? Public enumerator. Okay, let's just think about this. So we probably want to add a serialized field Yeah, door animation. How long it'll take to animate the door. You going to bed? Good night. I will see you soon. In half an hour. Animate doors. So we're going to do float elapsed time equals 0. And we'll have a bool here that is called open doors. Does that make sense? Open doors. And then the opposite would be closed. I'll call it door state. Oh no. Doors open. True would mean yes. False would mean they're closed. I think that makes sense. So if doors open, else doors are closed. So then we want to do while elapsed time is less than the door animation duration, we want to add on to the elapsed time from the last frame. Then we want to do if door left doesn't equal null, starting position equals this, yeah. Target position, yeah. And then lerp from the start position to the target position with the elapsed time divided by the animation duration. Yeah. That's basically what we want to do. So we don't need to actually check if doors are open up here with that code. And then let's just assume the doors are not set to null, because that would be just like really stupid anyway. And we can do door right. Basically the same, but opposite. Okay. Then we want to do yield return null. So we wait a frame, then continue. And then at the end, ensure they are in position. So if doors open, we want to do door left dot transform position equals that, and door right equals that. Is it the right way around? Minus for I can't tell if that's the right way around. Else doors are closed, so do the same but with the closed positions. So doors closed, export close. Okay. So we got open doors and closed doors. When we do open door now, we want to instead do start coroutine animate doors true. And when we do closed doors, we want to do start coroutine animate doors false. And also we probably want to keep track of the coroutine. So we'll do private coroutine door animation coroutine, and then we can do here door animation coroutine equals that. Same here, equals that. But before we do that, we'll do stop animation. No, stop coroutine. That one. Copy that, paste it here. There we go. Save. Save. Alright, so now if I press play, and click open doors, it crashes. What is null? Oh, okay. If it doesn't equal null, then stop it. There we go. Just because when you first click it, it will already be null. And have I got that? Where did I have that actually? Oh, I need that in closed doors as well. Cool. Play. Okay, so if I click open doors, whoa, they open. If I click close, they close. If I click close again, whoa, it just opens them, closes them from open. Open, 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 open. Oh, look at that. Open, close, open, close. We can make it even better. Instead of animating from the position they're supposed to start and end at, we can make them animate from the position they're at. So if you press open doors and keep pressing open doors, instead of starting from the beginning of the animation, it'll just sort of continue from where it got to. Maybe we don't need that though, because we're only going to open them when you've completed the level. It's time to go, and then when you get in, we'll just close the doors. So is it worth coding it if we're not going to use it? Probably not. Probably not. Cool. So now save, 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 save. Let me just think. Let's see. Let's press play. I think what it should work like. Let me go over there and show you. If I go to the cube and make it a trigger instead. Start game. So, oh, that feels quite small for a lift now. That should have probably been bigger, shouldn't it? If I go to my lift and I open the doors and go in the lift, can I go in the lift? Yeah. Close the doors. I feel like the level should start with you in the lift. The lift should arrive at the floor. The doors should open. Then when you step out into the room, enemies start spawning in. And the door closes. And then, once you have killed all the enemies, the doors on the lift just kill them all. 3 left. Where's the third one? Is he like hiding around here somewhere? Yeah, there's one there. One enemy left. Where is he? Where's the enemy? Oh no, where is the enemy? Oh, he's there. I thought maybe it had like bugged out and there wasn't another enemy, but there he is. Cool. Kill the enemy. You have one. So now when you've killed all the enemies on the floor, the lift opens up. You go in the lift, the doors close, takes you to the next floor. And then open doors, you get out, you're on the next floor now. And when you go in the lift and the doors close, I think the whole level should fade. And it should just show you the lift. And then you should see the lift like move down. And then the camera follow. And then it opens up and the level all fades in. So you can see everything else again. And then same again. Do you think that makes sense? How do I know an enemy wouldn't spawn in the lift? Is a good question. At the moment, the way the enemy spawning works, if I show you on a game manager here, and it could potentially be overlapping. Yeah, it is overlapping. So an enemy could spawn in the lift. But I've got these basically like these spheres, these red spheres. Do they show up on the stream? Yeah. And basically I set a position here and a radius, and then enemies can spawn in within these red circles. So if I just move these across, so like this one, what's the best way to do it? If I move it in like by 10 or 14, move it back there like that, 14, then I move that one across there like that, minus 12 seems to work, and that one's 12. Now they can't spawn in the lift, they'll only spawn in those spheres. And then these two I'll move as well, just to make it all symmetrical. 12. And that's like 14, but that could be 12 as well, really. I think, like, because it's like an office with a lift, it'll have like rooms, and I'll just change from spheres to using rooms. So the enemies will spawn in the different rooms. And when we do that, we might as well just have all the enemies spawn in at the start rather than over time as well. So that would be minus 12 and minus 12, 12 and minus 12. Cool. And then this thing, I will just move over here now, out of the way. Someplace over here. 3.5. Plate. Start game. So we want to make the lift bigger because that lift feels very small. Oh, what's colliding there? Something was colliding weird then. I think some bullets were just getting destroyed like here. It's not doing it now though. Classic. I'll have to look back on the stream to see what happened then. I think... yeah, I don't know why that happened. Play. Start game. So when I went here, bullets were getting destroyed. They don't seem to be now. So we've also made it work with keyboard and mouse. So you can aim with keyboard, or you can click and shoot. Also works with gamepad. Oh look, it was doing it then as well. One just happened then. Destroyed collision with wall. Suspicious. Save. Save. Play again. Let's have a look. Is it only happening near the lift? Maybe. See, every now and again. So if I collide a few with the door, when they collide with the door, it doesn't seem to reset their lifetime. Despawn bullet. Current lifetime equals 0 when we spawn them in. On collision enter. Despawn bullet, despawn bullet. Maybe when we despawn the bullet, we just bump the lifetime back up there. Current lifetime equals 0 again. We're basically resetting it there instead. And then we could do current lifetime equals 0. And then not have it in setup bullet, because we already know we're going to have set it properly here when we despawn it. Maybe. Let's see if that still happens. That's a bit odd. Because it looked like it was colliding with something, but I couldn't see in the debug what it was colliding with. So if I go over here, shoot a few. It seemed to be like when I shot at the lift and then started shooting over here. It doesn't seem to be happening now though, so I guess we've fixed it. Oh, one just did. Are they colliding with each other again? No. I just saw one happen. There. See that? Like the last few. With wall. Was that a wall one that we knew about though or not? Maybe if we when a bullet gets destroyed, we pause the game? No. Okay, when this happens, let's well, I think it is doing this, but where else would we call that? We're only calling it in those two places. Screen time is more than the lifetime. And then we're calling that from here. Projectile lifetime on the shooter. Where is our shooter script on the player? Lifetime is 5. That's very odd. Start game. If I clear the log, collapse it, and then just shoot over here a bunch. We can see bullets due to lifetime is going up. How do you remain so chill when encountering a bug? I'd be so stressed. I do get stressed about it, I guess, but it's more like it's really confusing. So I'm trying to like problem solve with it, I guess. Alright, I fired loads. I'm gonna 16 times we've collided with the door and 4 with the wall. 16 and 4, and I just saw a bullet disappear. So it must have been destroyed for lifetime because there's no other explanation. So shoot a few bullets here. You can see this like door 1 and wall 1 are going up. And if I go here, 40, 12, 38 and 20. Okay, 40, 12, 38 and 20. If I fire over here, some bullets are getting destroyed. Forty, 12, 38 and 20. So the bullets aren't colliding with anything. They are just getting destroyed from lifetime, I suppose. Why is that? So if I shoot a bunch of bullets here, stop, I wait 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I start firing now, it says 225. Will that start going up when the bullets get destroyed? See, it's already gone past 5 seconds and the bullets are fine. So maybe it's when I shoot this. Let me just wait till that counts up. 277. I shoot this a bunch of times, and then I can't wait more than 5 seconds. So 277. I'll just fire for a while. Now fire over here. None are getting destroyed again. Now they're going up. So maybe I have to stop and start again to see this. Clear. Play. Start game. Okay, so fire a bunch at this. And then check what number we've got. We've done 41. Fire over here. Wait for the bullets to get destroyed. They're not getting destroyed. Oh. Stop. Clear. Play. Start game. Shoot at the wall. Shoot over here. It's on 11. See, it's not doing it now. Now it's going up. Play. I've got 5 minutes left. This feels like it might take ages to solve this, so I don't know if we'll solve it today. Fire in and then fire over here. We've got 9. It's not doing it. Is it the doors specifically then or something? Clear. Fire at this. Okay, fire over here. 11. 3. There, 1 just happened. No, that's something else. Okay, so we're on 35 destroyed from lifetime. That's fine. Count up. 44. It's not doing it now. Okay, fire over here. There. But I can't. It's no good because I can't see what's happened. What if I put a number above the bullets to show what their lifetime is? That feels ridiculous, but where's the bullets? Debug, bullet manager. I'll do a debug log. No, not on draw gizmos. Gizmos.color red is fine. We will gizmos.draw. What can you draw? Can you draw UI? Yeah. Draw icon. Draw A line. Would a line be useful? I could draw the line upwards and it'll shrink as the lifetime goes down. It's not going to work. What's going on then? So we set the bullet up, then on fixed update we get the current lifetime, we add on the time from the last frame. If the time from the last frame is more than the lifetime, we despawn the bullet and return. Else we just set the velocity in the previous position. And when we despawn it, we set the lifetime to 0 again. Even. Lifetime. Are we despawning the bullets anywhere else, maybe? Despawn to pool. Like, where else are we getting Bullet Manager? We're getting it in the shooter twice. So once when we shoot, and then once again to set up the bullet. So let's just look at project settings layers. So player bullets can collide with default. They can collide with transparent effects, but we can take that off. Ignore raycast, take that off. Water and UI, let's take that off. The only thing player bullets can collide with is the enemy now. Okay. Save. I mean, could it have been colliding with the UI? That feels like no. But you never know, I suppose. Play. It could be a bug with the way the pool manager works, I suppose. That's the only other thing I can think of. Yeah, look, sometimes it just, the bullet like is getting destroyed before its time should be up. Or it's getting reused by the pool manager before it is ready to be reused. That is a potential thing that could be happening. Let's look on the pool manager. So spawn an object from the pool. Check if it's already in the pool. So it will be. If it's already in the pool, make sure there's at least more than 0 of them. Yeah. I suppose it would be. Available object equals DQ. Let me just look up, does DQ take it out of the dictionary? DQ.dispose. DQ.invoke. Wait item. I don't know if DQ removes it from the pool. That's what I would assume DQ would do. Is it like a queue? It's not even a queue. It's not a queue. It is a queue. Count is the queue count. Is the try. So when you do DQ on a queue in Unity, Q, DQ, Unity, C#. You're supposed to remove it from the queue and let you use it. Okay, so reuse it and remove it from queue. So that's the available object. Then we set its transform position, rotation, and set it active. And the spawned object equals the available object. Else, if there are no, the queue is empty, we just create a new object. Create new object, do we put it in the queue? Niloy, hello. I'm solving a bug at the moment, it's just driving me mad a bit, it's so confusing. So we spawn it in, but we don't need to add it into the queue. Else it's not in there, so we make a new prefab in the dictionary and make a new queue. Spawned object, create new object. Yeah. So this is us calling on pool spawned, and then we just return the spawned object. Okay, so what else are we calling? We're calling. So what else is getting spawned in like this? Enemies and bullets, basically, and bullet holes. Despawn to pool. So poolable game object to despawn, we get the poolable prefab reference, which we add when we create it. If poolable doesn't equal null, then prefab poolable dot prefab reference. Yeah. We disable the game object. We contains key prefab enqueue. We enqueue it. Oops. 11. We put it in the queue if it already exists. If it doesn't exist, we make a new entry and then we enqueue it. Oops.
Sorry,
Alexa, stop. Reminder to go to bed. Else destroy it because it's not. I can't see any obvious bugs, like obvious reasons why there's a bug. I mean. But we should only be able to get an object if it is already in the queue. And when we create it, when we enable it, we take it out of the queue. So it should remove it straight away. Let's do DQ it. Very confused. I think I need to stop stream, have a look at the video where it happens in the stream and go frame by frame and see if I can see what happens on the console log when it happens. Because what I feel like is happening is when you fire some bullets, instead of making a new bullet, it's grabbing one of the bullets that is already active and in the scene. So if I pause and make a full screen. So it happens when you come over here, you sort of shoot, you shoot stuff and then you start shooting separate. So shoot the wall a bit, then shoot over here. Not doing it now though. I don't know, maybe it's to do with the door then. Like, it's fine now. Oops. actually it happens every now and again, like. There it happened again. I don't know what would cause that though. I think I do need to do some more debug stuff where like it does say the numbers on them so I can see. Because it's really hard to know without being able to track what bullet it was. Like it only happens after you're shooting at one thing and then shoot somewhere else. Like. And it doesn't even seem to happen consistently as well. It's quite like random when it happens. Like I can't seem to get it to happen every time or anything. There it happened then. See, it's like really inconsistent when it happens. Very weird. Alright, I'm gonna have to call it and go to bed, I think, but that's very odd. There, happened again. Alright, I'll check out the VOD that I've recorded and I'll see if I can figure it out. Alright, thanks for watching. I will see you next week for another stream. And in the meantime, I'll have a look at this, see if I can figure it out off stream because it's a bit of a weird one. I don't want to spend the whole of the stream next week figuring it out either. But